Hey there, and welcome back to our channel. We're thrilled to have you here. If you enjoy our content, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated with all our latest videos. Now, let's dive right into today's story. Welcome, friends, to another video. If this is your first time here, we're so glad to have you. For our regular viewers, welcome back. Don't forget to like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on our future content. Without further ado, let's jump into the main event. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. If you find value in our video, please show your support by giving us a like and hitting the In the gentle embrace of dusk, where the sun delicately dipped below the horizon casting long, languid shadows across the rolling hills, there lay a valley steeped in mystery and folklore. A whispering wind wove through ancient oaks, their gnarled branches like the fingers of elder spirits, beckoning and warning in equal measure. This was the land of the Bell Witch, a tale told in hushed tones and with eyes wide, a legend that had seeped into the very soil like a persistent fog. In this mystical landscape stood a solitary figure, a young woman named Alara. Her hair was the color of autumn leaves, cascading in waves over her shoulders, and her eyes were as deep and enigmatic as the forest itself. She had come to this valley seeking solace, an escape from the cacophony of city life, where the constant pulse of modernity left her longing for something ancient and untouched. Alara walked with a purpose, yet her steps were gentle, as if she feared disturbing the spirits that lingered beneath the canopy of leaves. The path she followed was a slender thread through the tapestry of the forest, leading her deeper into its verdant heart. As she walked, the stories she had heard as a child played like a distant melody in her mind. Tales of a witch who haunted these woods, a spirit restless and powerful, whose presence was felt in every rustle of leaves and every whisper of the wind. The Bell Witch, they called her, a name that resonated with both fear and fascination. She was said to be a spirit of vengeance, a protector of the land, her powers woven into the fabric of the earth itself. But Alara, far from being deterred, felt a strange kinship with this spectral guardian. She believed that every legend bore a kernel of truth, and it was this truth she sought to uncover. As the light faded into twilight, the forest came alive with the symphony of night. Crickets chirped in a steady rhythm, while owls hooted their haunting serenades. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and the sweetness of wildflowers, creating an intoxicating perfume that enveloped her senses. It was a place both enchanting and eerie, where the line between reality and myth blurred like the edges of a dream. Alara paused by a stream that wound its way through the forest like a silver ribbon, its surface reflecting the first stars that dared to puncture the indigo sky. She knelt by the water's edge, dipping her fingers into the cool liquid, feeling the gentle current tugging at her skin. It was here, according to legend, that the Bell Witch had first been seen, her reflection glimpsed in the ripples, her voice carried on the breeze. A shiver ran down Alara's spine, not from the chill of the evening air, but from a sensation she couldn't quite place, a feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes observing her every move. She glanced around, her gaze sweeping over the shadowed undergrowth and the towering silhouettes of trees. The forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting, watching, as if it too was curious about this lone wanderer who dared to tread its secrets. Determined to shake off the unease, Alara continued along the path, the sound of the stream fading into the background as she ventured deeper into the heart of the woods. The trees closed in around her, their branches forming an intricate lattice overhead, through which the moonlight filtered in delicate strands. Her footsteps were soft against the leaf-strewn path, a gentle cadence that blended with the nocturnal chorus. It was then, as she rounded a bend in the path, that she saw it, a flicker of light, faint and distant, like a candle's flame swaying in the breeze. Intrigued, Alara pressed forward, drawn to the glow that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. The closer she got, the more it entranced her, casting a warm glow that pierced the shadows and beckoned her onward. The source of the light was a small clearing, a perfect circle carved into the forest, as if by some ancient hand. In the center stood a solitary cabin, its wooden walls weathered by time, the windows aglow with the flickering light of a fire within. Smoke curled lazily from the chimney, mingling with the scent of pine and earth. Alara hesitated at the edge of the clearing, her heart a steady drumbeat in her chest. There was something about the cabin that seemed both inviting and forbidding, a place out of time and yet deeply rooted in it. She took a deep breath, steadying herself, before stepping into the clearing, the crunch of leaves beneath her feet the only sound in the stillness. As she approached the cabin, the door creaked open, revealing a figure silhouetted in the warm glow of the interior. The figure was that of an elderly woman, her hair a cascade of silver that shimmered like moonlight. Her eyes, sharp and wise, met Alara's with an intensity that belied her age. "Welcome, child," the woman said, her voice as soft as the rustling leaves, yet carrying an authority that commanded attention. "I've been expecting you." Alara's heart skipped a beat, surprise mingling with curiosity. "You have?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The woman nodded, stepping aside to allow Alara entry. "The forest speaks, and I listen. Come, we have much to discuss." Inside the cabin, the air was warm and fragrant, filled with the aroma of herbs and the comforting crackle of the fire in the hearth. The walls were lined with shelves, each crammed with jars and bottles containing mysterious substances, their labels faded and cryptic. A table stood in the center of the room, cluttered with parchment and quills, as if the woman had been in the midst of some scholarly pursuit. "Who are you?" Alara asked, her eyes wide as she took in her surroundings. The woman smiled, a gesture that softened the lines of her face. "I am called many things, but you may call me Celine. I am a caretaker of sorts, a keeper of the old ways and the stories that bind us to this land." Alara felt a thrill of excitement mixed with apprehension. "And the Bell Witch? Is she real?" Celine's eyes twinkled with a knowing light. "Ah, the witch. She is as real as the wind that whispers through the trees and the stars that watch over us. But her story is not as simple as you might think." The fire crackled, casting dancing shadows across the walls, as Celine gestured for Alara to sit. "There is much you do not know, child. The tale of the Bell Witch is a tapestry woven with threads of truth and myth, and it is time for you to see the pattern hidden within." Alara leaned forward, her heart pounding with anticipation. The journey she had embarked upon was only just beginning, and the path ahead promised to be as winding and mysterious as the forest itself. As Celine began to speak, her voice a gentle lullaby, Alara felt the world around her shift, the boundaries of reality dissolving like mist in the morning sun. She was ready to uncover the untold legend, to delve into the heart of the mystery that had captivated her soul. Celine's voice was a soft melody, weaving its way through the room with the grace of a silken ribbon in the breeze. "Long ago," she began, "in a time when the world was still young and the veil between the seen and unseen was thin, there lived a woman known as Kate Batts. She was not a witch by birth but by circumstance, a healer and wise woman whose knowledge of the natural world was unparalleled." Alara listened intently, her eyes wide with wonder. She could almost see Kate Batts in her mind's eye, a figure of grace and strength moving through the lush landscape of her time, gathering herbs and whispering incantations that spoke to the very soul of the earth. Kate was a woman of great power, Celine continued, and the people of the village sought her guidance in times of need. But as it often happens when one shines too brightly, envy took root in the hearts of some. Whispers of witchcraft began to circulate, fueled by fear and misunderstanding. The fire before them flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance in chorus with Celine's tale. Alara felt a chill creep down her spine, the weight of the past pressing upon her like a shroud. "One day, a terrible accusation was made," Celine said, her voice dropping to a near whisper. "Kate was blamed for a series of misfortunes that befell the village. Crops failed, livestock fell ill, and the people, desperate for answers, turned their eyes toward her. They claimed she had made a pact with dark forces, that she was the harbinger of their woes. Alara's heart ached with the injustice of it, her empathy for Kate swelling within her like a tide. How could they do this to someone who had only ever sought to help? Kate was brought before the village council. Celine's tone was somber, and despite her pleas of innocence, she was condemned. The villagers, in their fear and superstition, drove her away, banishing her to the wilderness she had called home. The room seemed to hold its breath, the crackling of the fire the only sound breaking the stillness. Alara's mind whirled with the imagery of Kate, wandering alone in the forest, the shadows of the trees her only companions. But Kate was not defeated. Celine's voice rose, a note of defiance threading through the melancholy. In her exile, she found solace in the elements, befriended the spirits of the land, and from them, she drew strength. It was said that the forest spoke to her, shared its secrets, and in return, she guarded it fiercely. Alara could almost feel the ancient woods closing in around her, the whispers of the leaves a gentle caress against her skin. She imagined Kate, standing proud and resolute, her heart intertwined with the very soul of the earth. Years passed, Celine said, and the village forgot its cruelty. But the forest did not forget Kate. Her spirit lingered, watching over the land she loved, and when the descendants of those who wronged her came to settle, she made her presence known. Alara's curiosity piqued. "Is that when the hauntings began?" she asked, her voice a breathless whisper. Celine nodded, her eyes reflecting the flames like twin stars. "Yes, child." The Bell family moved into the area, and with them came the echoes of the past. Strange occurrences began to plague them, unseen forces that moved through their home, mysterious sounds in the night, and whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. The room seemed to constrict around Alara, the air thick with the weight of secrets unspoken. She could feel the pulse of the legend, a living entity that breathed in the shadows and sang in the silence. The Bell Witch, Celine said, was Kate's spirit, seeking justice, seeking recognition of the wrongs done to her. It was said that she tormented the family until they acknowledged the past, until they understood the weight of their ancestors' actions. Alara shivered, her mind a storm of questions and emotions. Did they ever find peace? She asked, her voice tremulous, as if afraid of the answer. Celine smiled gently, a warmth that belied the chill of the tale. In time, the Bell family came to understand. They sought forgiveness, not just from Kate, but from the land itself. And the hauntings ceased, as Kate's spirit found rest, her soul finally at peace. A silence settled over them, as soft and profound as the twilight. Alara felt a sense of closure, a feeling of completeness that resonated deep within her. The story of the Bell Witch was not just a tale of vengeance, but of healing, of the bonds that tie us to the earth and to each other. "Thank you," Alara whispered, her heart full of gratitude. "Thank you for showing me the truth." Celine nodded, her expression serene. "Remember this, child. The stories we tell shape the world we live in. They are a bridge between past and present, a reminder that we are all connected, bound by the threads of our shared humanity." As the fire died down, casting the room into a gentle darkness, Alara felt a sense of peace settle over her. The night air was cool against her skin, the forest outside a living, breathing entity that cradled her in its embrace. The legend of the Bell Witch was no longer a ghost story told in hushed whispers. It was a testament to resilience, to the enduring spirit of those who came before. And as Alara closed her eyes, she felt the echoes of the past fade away, leaving behind a quiet that sang with the promise of new beginnings. The next morning dawned gently, the soft light filtering through the canopy of leaves and casting dapples across the forest floor. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth, a reminder of the endless cycle of life that played out in these woods. Alara awoke to the sound of birdsong, a symphony of nature that filled her with a sense of renewal. As she stretched and shook off the remnants of sleep, she recalled the events of the previous night. The stories, the revelations, the key she had discovered to understanding not just the legend, but herself. She felt a newfound clarity, as if the fog that had obscured her path had lifted, revealing a road she was now eager to travel. Celine was already awake, her presence a calm, grounding force. She sat by the fire pit, now a circle of cool ash, her eyes closed in meditation. Alara watched her for a moment, admiring the way she seemed to be in perfect harmony with the world around her. It was a trait Alara aspired to emulate. "Good morning." Celine's voice broke the morning's stillness, her eyes opening to meet Alara's. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes, thank you," Alara replied, feeling the sincerity of her words. "I feel different, lighter, somehow." Celine smiled knowingly. Understanding has a way of doing that. It's like shedding an old skin, making room for something new. Alara nodded, pondering the metaphor. She felt a stirring within her, a desire to continue exploring the depths of this legend, to piece together the fragments of history and find her place within it. "What's next?" she asked, her voice tinged with anticipation. Celine gestured toward the dense forest that surrounded them, a sea of green that beckoned with mystery. "The forest holds many secrets, Alara. And so does the town. There are those who know more than they let on, whispers that float on the wind waiting for the right ears to hear them." Alara felt a thrill of excitement. The town, with its quaint charm and hidden depths, was a place she had yet to fully explore. She imagined the stories it held, the lives intertwined with the legend of the Bell Witch, and the truths that lay beneath the surface. They set off after a simple breakfast, the path leading them through the forest and back to the dusty road that wound its way toward the town. The morning sun was warm on their backs, the sky a brilliant expanse of blue that promised a day of possibilities. As they walked, Alara found herself reflecting on the connections she felt to this place, this story. It was as if she had been drawn there by some invisible thread, a force that had guided her to uncover the truth and, in doing so, discover herself. The town was much as she remembered it, with its cobblestone streets and old-world charm. But now, she looked at it through new eyes, seeing beyond the surface to the currents of history that flowed beneath. She felt a sense of belonging, as if she were part of a larger tapestry woven from the stories of those who had come before. Their first stop was the local library, a small building nestled among the shops and cafes. Inside, the air was cool and smelled of old paper and ink, a sanctuary of knowledge waiting to be explored. The librarian, a woman with sharp eyes and a warm smile, greeted them with a nod, as if she had been expecting their arrival. Celine led Alara to a section dedicated to local history, the shelves lined with books and documents that chronicled the town's past. It was a treasure trove of information, each page a window into another time, another life. As Alara browsed the shelves, her fingers brushed against a worn leather-bound book. Something about it called to her, an instinctual pull she couldn't ignore. She opened it, her eyes scanning the pages that were filled with accounts of the Bell Witch and the events that had unfolded centuries ago. The words were like a portal, drawing her into a world of mystery and intrigue. She read about the Bell family, their struggles, the strange occurrences that had plagued them, and the enduring mystery of the witch who had haunted their lives. But there were also tales of courage, of perseverance, of a community that had come together in the face of the unknown. Alara's heart ached with empathy as she imagined what it must have been like to live through such times, to face the fear and uncertainty that had gripped the town. Yet, amidst the darkness, there was a sense of hope, of light that had shone through the cracks. History is a living thing. Celine's voice brought her back to the present, her eyes gentle and wise. It breathes through the stories we tell, the memories we keep alive. Alara nodded, the weight of history settling on her shoulders like a familiar cloak. She felt a kinship with those who had come before, a desire to honor their stories and ensure they were not forgotten. As they left the library, Alara's mind buzzed with possibilities. There was so much more to discover, so many layers to uncover. And she knew, without a doubt, that she was exactly where she was meant to be. Their next stop was a small cafe, its walls lined with photographs and memorabilia that spoke of the town's storied past. The smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the hum of conversation and the clatter of cups. Alara and Celine found a table by the window, the sunlight streaming in and casting a warm glow over their faces. As they sipped their drinks, Alara's thoughts turned to the people of the town, the lives that had been touched by the legend in ways she had yet to comprehend. "Do you think the witch was real?" Alara asked, her voice thoughtful. Celine considered the question, her expression contemplative. "Real or not, she is part of the fabric of this place. Her story has shaped the lives of those who have lived here, a reminder of the unseen forces that connect us all." Alara pondered this, her mind turning over the possibilities. The witch was more than just a figure of folklore. She was a symbol, a reflection of the fears and hopes of a community that had endured much. As the afternoon waned and the shadows grew long, Alara felt a sense of purpose settle within her. She was determined to continue her journey, to delve deeper into the legend and uncover the truths that lay hidden beneath the surface. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, as they made their way back to the forest. The path was familiar now, a comforting presence that guided them home. As they walked, Alara felt a sense of peace, of belonging. She had found her place in this story, her role in the unfolding drama of the Bell Witch. And she knew that she was ready to face whatever lay ahead, armed with the knowledge and understanding she had gained. The forest welcomed them back, its shadows stretching out to embrace them as the stars began to twinkle overhead. The air was cool and crisp, a reminder of the night's promise and the mysteries yet to be revealed. As they reached the clearing, Alara paused, her eyes taking in the beauty of the world around her. She felt a sense of gratitude, of awe, for the journey she had embarked upon and the stories she had uncovered. Celine smiled, her eyes reflecting the light of the stars. "This is just the beginning, Alara. There is so much more to discover, so many stories waiting to be told." Alara nodded, her heart full of anticipation for the adventures yet to come. The legend of the Bell Witch was a living thing, a tapestry of lives and stories that had woven themselves into the fabric of her soul. And she was ready to continue her journey, to unravel the mysteries of the past and forge her own path into the future. The night enveloped them in its velvety embrace, a celestial quilt stitched with silver stardust. The forest was alive with the murmurings of ancient secrets, whispered through the rustling leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. Alara and Celine moved with a quiet reverence, as if each step was a note in the symphony of the night. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the path beneath their feet seemed to pulse with a gentle energy, guiding them forward. The trees stood as sentinels, their gnarled branches reaching out like arms, as if to protect or perhaps to warn. The air was tinged with the scent of pine and earth, a fragrance both grounding and invigorating. Alara's mind was a kaleidoscope of thoughts and images, swirling with the stories she had learned. The Bell Witch legend was a living entity, its presence palpable in the very air around her. It was a story of love and loss, of vengeance and redemption, woven together by the threads of time and memory. As they walked, Celine's voice broke the silence, soft as a lullaby. "The forest holds many stories, Alara. Each tree, each stone, is a keeper of secrets. We are but visitors, passing through this tapestry of life." Alara nodded, feeling the truth of Celine's words resonate within her. She was a part of something much greater, a single note in the symphony of existence. The realization brought with it a sense of peace, a deep connection to the world around her. Their path led them to a small brook, its waters glistening in the moonlight like liquid silver. The gentle babble of the stream was a soothing melody, a reminder of the eternal flow of life. Alara knelt by the water's edge, her fingers trailing through the cool liquid, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath her touch. Celine joined her, their reflections shimmering on the water's surface. "This brook has witnessed centuries of change," she mused, her voice a gentle caress. "It knows the stories of those who have come before us, and those who will come after." The water seemed to whisper its agreement, its voice a soft murmur that spoke of time and eternity. Alara felt a shiver of awe, as if she was standing on the precipice of something vast and unknowable. She closed her eyes, letting the sound of the brook wash over her, a lullaby of the earth itself. As the night wore on, they continued their journey, their steps a dance upon the forest floor. The path wound through groves of ancient oaks, their leaves rustling in a gentle symphony. The moon hung low in the sky, a silver lantern guiding their way. In the distance, the silhouette of a cabin emerged, nestled among the trees like a forgotten relic. It was a place steeped in history, its walls echoing with the whispers of the past. Alara felt a thrill of anticipation, a sense that the cabin held answers to the questions that had been swirling in her mind. Celine paused, her gaze fixed on the cabin. "This is where it all began," she said, her voice tinged with reverence. "The beginning of the legend, the heart of the mystery." Alara approached the cabin with a sense of wonder, her footsteps light upon the moss-covered ground. The air was thick with the scent of wood smoke and earth, a grounding presence that anchored her to the moment. She felt as if she was stepping back in time, into a story that had been waiting for her to uncover. The door creaked open, revealing a room bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Shadows danced upon the walls, a silent ballet of light and darkness. The air was still, holding its breath as if waiting for her to speak. Alara's eyes were drawn to a table in the center of the room, where a collection of objects lay like offerings upon an altar. There were faded photographs, their edges curled with age, and letters written in a delicate script. Each item was a piece of the puzzle, a key to unlocking the secrets of the past. Celine joined her, her presence a comforting anchor in the sea of memories. "These are the artifacts of the Bell Witch," she explained, her voice a soft echo in the quiet room. "They hold the stories of those who came before us, the lives that have shaped the legend." Alara reached for a photograph, its surface cool beneath her fingers. The image showed a family gathered on the porch of the cabin, their faces serene and hopeful. She felt a connection to them, a thread that linked her to their story. As she studied the photograph, a sense of understanding began to unfurl within her. The Bell Witch legend was not just a tale of terror and mystery, it was a tapestry of human experience, woven with threads of love, fear, and resilience. Each person who had been touched by the legend had added their own story, their own voice, to the chorus of history. Celine watched her, a knowing smile playing upon her lips. "Do you see it now, Alara? The legend is alive, a living story that continues to grow and evolve." Alara nodded, her heart full with the weight of understanding. She had embarked on this journey seeking answers, but what she had found was something far greater, a connection to the past, a thread that wove her into the fabric of the legend. As the night deepened, they sat together in the quiet of the cabin, the air filled with the stories of those who had come before. The moon cast its silver light upon them, a gentle reminder of the journey they had undertaken. Alara felt a sense of peace, a serenity that came from knowing she was a part of something greater than herself. The legend of the Bell Witch was not just a story of the past, it was a living entity, a tapestry of lives and memories that continued to unfold. And as the first light of dawn began to paint the sky with hues of pink and gold, Alara knew that her journey was far from over. There were still stories to uncover, mysteries to unravel, and a legend to live. With Celine by her side, she was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, knowing that she was a part of something timeless and eternal. The legend of the Bell Witch was her story now, a thread that connected her to the past and guided her into the future. And in the quiet of the cabin, surrounded by the whispers of history, she felt a profound sense of belonging, a knowledge that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The morning air was thick with the scent of dew-laden grass and the sweet aroma of blooming wildflowers, their petals unfurling in the gentle embrace of the sun. Alara and Celine sat on the porch of the cabin, sipping tea from chipped mugs, their breath mingling with the crispness of the air. The world around them was waking up, and with it came the promise of new discoveries and the echoes of old secrets. Alara's mind was a kaleidoscope of thoughts, each fragment of memory and dream swirling together in a dance of color and light. The legend of the Bell Witch, once a distant enigma, now felt like a familiar embrace, a call to adventure that resonated deep within her soul. It was a story that was both terrifying and beautiful, a narrative woven with threads of fear and hope, despair and redemption. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the earth, Alara felt the urge to explore, to delve deeper into the world of the Bell Witch. She was drawn to the woods, to the ancient trees that whispered secrets in the language of rustling leaves and creaking branches. With Celine by her side, she ventured into the forest, the path beneath their feet a tapestry of fallen leaves and moss-covered stones. The woods were alive with the sounds of nature, a symphony of birdsong and the gentle rustle of creatures moving through the underbrush. Alara felt a sense of wonder as she walked, her senses heightened by the beauty and mystery that surrounded her. The air was cool and invigorating, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth, a reminder of the ancient forces that shaped this land. As they walked, Alara's thoughts turned to the past, to the stories of the Bell family and the enigmatic witch that haunted them. She imagined the fear and uncertainty that must have gripped their hearts, the sense of being caught in a web of supernatural forces that defied explanation. How had they coped with the unknown, with the presence of a spirit that seemed to defy the boundaries of life and death? And yet, there was something more to the legend, something beyond the fear and the darkness. Alara sensed a deeper truth, a story of love and loss, of courage and resilience. It was a tale that spoke to the human condition, to the eternal struggle between light and shadow, and the enduring power of the human spirit. As they ventured deeper into the woods, Alara and Celine came upon a clearing, a small oasis of sunlight in the midst of the trees. In the center of the clearing stood a stone circle, weathered by time and covered in a delicate tapestry of moss and lichen. The stones were ancient, their surfaces etched with patterns that hinted at forgotten rituals and long-lost knowledge. Alara felt a shiver run down her spine as she approached the circle, a sense of awe and reverence filling her heart. The stones seemed to pulse with energy, a silent testament to the power of the past and the mysteries that lay hidden in the shadows. She felt a connection to this place, a sense of belonging that transcended time and space. As she stood within the circle, Alara closed her eyes, allowing herself to be carried away by the whispers of the forest, the soft murmur of the wind through the trees. She felt the presence of the Bell Witch, a gentle yet powerful force that seemed to watch over her, guiding her towards a truth that lay just beyond her grasp. In that moment, Alara understood that the legend of the Bell Witch was not just a story of the supernatural, but a reflection of the human experience. It was a tale of love and loss, of hope and despair, of the eternal dance between light and shadow. And in that dance, there was a beauty and a grace that transcended the fear and the darkness. As they left the clearing and made their way back through the woods, Alara felt a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to uncover the truth of the legend and to honor the lives of those who had been touched by its power. She knew that there were still mysteries to unravel, stories to discover, and truths to uncover. And with Celine by her side, she felt ready to embrace the journey ahead. The sun was beginning its descent, casting a warm golden glow over the landscape as Alara and Celine returned to the cabin. The air was filled with the scent of wood smoke and the distant sound of birds singing their evening song. It was a time of transition, a moment of quiet reflection before the night unfolded its cloak of stars. As the darkness fell and the first stars appeared in the sky, Alara sat by the window, her thoughts drifting back to the clearing and the ancient stones. She felt a sense of peace, a quiet certainty that she was on the right path, that the legend of the Bell Witch was her story to tell. And as she gazed out at the night, the stars shimmering like diamonds against the velvet sky, Alara felt a profound connection to the past, a sense of belonging that filled her heart with warmth and light. The legend of the Bell Witch was a part of her now, a thread that wove her into the tapestry of history and guided her towards the future. With a quiet sigh, Alara turned away from the window, her thoughts filled with the promise of new discoveries and the timeless beauty of the world around her. She knew that there were still stories to uncover, mysteries to unravel, and a legend to live. And she was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, knowing that she was a part of something timeless and eternal, a living testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Alara's heart was a symphony, playing notes of hope and anticipation as she prepared for the journey ahead. The legend of the Bell Witch was more than just stories whispered through generations. It was a living, breathing entity that seemed to pulse with the energy of those who had come before her. Each tale, each whisper of the wind through the trees, held a piece of the puzzle, waiting to be discovered and cherished. As dawn's soft light crept through the window, painting her room in shades of gold, Alara knew it was time to return to the clearing, where the ancient stones awaited her. The morning air was crisp and fresh, carrying with it the scent of dew-kissed earth and the distant promise of adventure. She dressed with care, choosing sturdy boots and a warm cloak to shield against the chill, and stepped out into the world, ready to face whatever mysteries lay in her path. The forest greeted her like an old friend, its towering trees standing as silent sentinels along the winding path. Each step she took was accompanied by the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant call of a mourning dove. It was as if the woods themselves were alive, whispering secrets only she could understand. Alara walked with purpose, her heart guided by an invisible thread that seemed to pull her towards the heart of the legend. As she approached the clearing, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The ancient stones stood like guardians, their weathered surfaces etched with the passage of time. Alara paused at the edge of the clearing, taking a moment to absorb the scene before her. The sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting dappled shadows on the ground and illuminating the stones with a gentle glow. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, feeling the energy of the place envelop her like a warm embrace. Each stone seemed to hum with its own unique vibration, resonating with the stories of the past. Alara knelt beside one of the larger stones, tracing her fingers over the surface as if trying to unlock its secrets. The stone was cool and smooth beneath her touch, its surface marked with symbols she couldn't quite decipher. But it was not the symbols that drew her attention, it was the faint outline of a handprint, barely visible against the stone's weathered face. Alara's heart skipped a beat as she pressed her own hand against the print, feeling a jolt of recognition that sent a shiver down her spine. It was as if the handprint was a bridge, connecting her to the past and all those who had come before. As she knelt there, lost in the moment, the air around her seemed to shift, growing dense with possibility. The sounds of the forest faded into the background, replaced by a soft, melodic whisper that danced on the edge of her consciousness. Alara closed her eyes, allowing the sound to wash over her like a gentle wave. The whisper grew louder, forming words that echoed in the depths of her soul. Find the heart of the legend, where the shadows meet the light. The message was cryptic, yet it resonated with a truth that Alara couldn't deny. She opened her eyes, her gaze drawn to the center of the clearing where the sunlight pooled in a brilliant cascade of light. It was there, in the heart of the legend, that she would find the answers she sought. With renewed determination, Alara rose to her feet and made her way to the center of the clearing, her heart beating in time with the rhythm of the earth beneath her feet. As she reached the center, the ground shifted slightly, revealing a hidden path that wound its way through the trees. The path was narrow and overgrown, but Alara felt a strong pull to follow it, as if it held the key to unlocking the mysteries of the legend. She hesitated for a moment, glancing back at the stones that stood silently behind her, before taking a deep breath and stepping onto the path. The forest closed around her, the trees forming an archway that seemed to welcome her into their embrace. The path was winding and treacherous, littered with fallen branches and hidden roots that threatened to trip her at every turn. But Alara moved with purpose, her steps guided by an unseen hand that led her ever deeper into the heart of the woods. Time seemed to lose its meaning as she walked, the minutes stretching into hours as she followed the path wherever it led. The air grew cooler, the shadows lengthening as the sun dipped lower in the sky. Alara felt a sense of urgency building within her, a feeling that she was drawing closer to the truth with each step she took. Finally, the path opened into a small glade, the sunlight painting the ground in a patchwork of light and shadow. At the center of the glade stood a single tree, its branches reaching towards the sky like the arms of an ancient guardian. The tree was massive, its trunk gnarled and weathered with age, and its roots spread out like fingers, anchoring it firmly to the earth. Alara approached the tree with a sense of reverence, feeling the weight of history pressing down upon her. This was the heart of the legend, the place where shadows met the light, and she knew that the answers she sought lay hidden within its depths. She placed her hand against the rough bark, feeling a vibration that thrummed with life and knowledge. As she stood there, her mind was flooded with images, a kaleidoscope of memories that danced before her eyes. She saw the Bell Witch, a figure shrouded in mystery, her presence both terrifying and mesmerizing. She saw the people who had come before her, each one drawn to this place by the same unexplainable force. And she saw herself, a part of this tapestry, woven into the fabric of the legend that spanned generations. The vision faded, leaving Alara breathless and filled with a sense of awe. She understood now that the legend was not just a story, it was a living entity, a force that connected the past to the present and guided those who were willing to listen. With a newfound sense of purpose, Alara stepped back from the tree, her heart brimming with gratitude and understanding. As she turned to leave the glade, the forest seemed to bid her farewell, the leaves rustling softly in the breeze as if whispering their secrets one last time. Alara retraced her steps along the path, feeling the weight of the legend lift from her shoulders, replaced by a sense of peace and fulfillment. The sun was setting by the time she emerged from the woods, the sky painted in hues of orange and pink. Alara paused at the edge of the clearing, casting one last glance at the ancient stones before making her way back home. She knew that her journey was far from over, that there were still stories to uncover and mysteries to unravel. But she also knew that she was no longer alone, that the legend of the Bell Witch would guide her every step of the way. As she walked back through the forest, the stars began to appear one by one, their light a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Alara felt a profound sense of belonging, a connection to the world and its stories that filled her heart with hope and wonder. And as she stepped into the warmth of her home, she knew that she was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, knowing that she was a part of something timeless and eternal, a living testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The gentle rustle of leaves followed Alara into her home, whispering secrets of the forest as she closed the door behind her. The room was bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, casting flickering shadows that danced across the walls. She set down her bag with a sigh of contentment, her gaze lingering on the small objects she had collected during her journey, each one a token of the mysteries she had uncovered and the truths she had yet to discover. As she settled into her favorite armchair, the warmth of the fire began to seep into her bones, soothing away the chill of the evening air. Her mind drifted back to the ancient stones in the clearing, their silent presence etched into her memory. They spoke a language of their own, one she had only begun to understand. It was a language of time and nature, of whispers carried on the wind and tales written in the stars. Alara glanced at the small journal resting on the table beside her. Its pages were filled with notes and sketches, fragments of the stories she had gathered. She opened it to a fresh page, the blank canvas inviting her to record the latest chapter of her journey. Her pen hovered above the paper for a moment, capturing the anticipation of the untold stories waiting to be unveiled. The room was quiet, save for the crackling of the fire and the occasional creak of the wooden beams. Outside, the night had settled in, wrapping the world in a cloak of serenity. Alara's thoughts danced like the flames, flickering between the past and the future. There was a comfort in knowing that the legend of the Bell Witch was a thread that connected her to something far greater than herself, weaving her into the fabric of history and folklore. As she began to write, the words flowed like a river, carrying her on a journey through time and memory. She wrote of the whispers in the woods, the shadows that danced in the moonlight, and the ancient stones that stood as sentinels of the past. She wrote of the Bell Witch, the enigmatic spirit whose story had captivated generations, and whose presence lingered in the air like a forgotten melody. With each word, Alara felt herself sinking deeper into the narrative, the world around her fading into the background. She was transported to another time, another place, where the line between reality and legend blurred into a tapestry of wonder and intrigue. In the midst of her reverie, a soft knock at the door startled her back to the present. The sound was unexpected, a gentle disruption in the stillness of the night. Alara set her journal aside, her curiosity piqued. She rose from her chair, her footsteps light against the wooden floor as she moved towards the door. As she opened it, the cool night air rushed in, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth. Standing on her doorstep was a figure cloaked in shadow, their features obscured by the dim light. For a moment, Alara's heart skipped a beat, a thrill of apprehension mingling with excitement. "Good evening," the stranger said, their voice low and melodic, like the murmur of a distant stream. "I hope I'm not disturbing you." Alara shook her head, her curiosity outweighing her caution. "Not at all," she replied, her voice steady. "What brings you here at this hour?" The stranger stepped into the light, revealing a face both familiar and foreign. There was something timeless about their features, a blend of youth and age that seemed to transcend the ordinary constraints of time. Their eyes held a depth of knowledge, as if they had seen the world unfold and were privy to its secrets. "I heard you were seeking stories," the stranger said, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of their lips. "I have one you might find intriguing." Alara's heart quickened at the promise of a new tale. She gestured for them to come inside, her mind already racing with possibilities. There was an air of mystery about the stranger, a sense that they were a keeper of forgotten lore, a guardian of the tales that had shaped the world. As they settled by the fire, the stranger began to speak, their voice weaving a tapestry of words that filled the room with a sense of enchantment. They spoke of a time long past, when the world was still young and the boundaries between the seen and the unseen were fluid and shifting. It was a story of love and loss, of courage and betrayal, and at its heart was the figure of the Bell Witch, whose influence had rippled through the ages, leaving an indelible mark on the tapestry of history. Alara listened, enraptured, as the stranger's words painted vivid images in her mind. She could see the scenes unfolding before her, feel the emotions that pulsed through the narrative like a living heartbeat. It was a story that resonated deeply within her, echoing the themes of her own journey and the legends she had come to love. As the tale drew to a close, the stranger fell silent, their gaze meeting Alara's with a knowing intensity. There was a moment of shared understanding, a recognition of the power of stories to bridge the gap between past and present, between the tangible and the ethereal. "Thank you," Alara said softly, her voice filled with gratitude. "It's a beautiful story." The stranger nodded, their expression thoughtful. "Stories have a way of finding those who need to hear them," they replied. "And sometimes, they bring people together in unexpected ways." Alara felt a warmth spreading through her chest, a sense of connection that transcended words. She knew that the stranger's visit was no mere coincidence, that their story was a gift, a piece of the puzzle she had been assembling in her heart and mind. As the night deepened, the stranger rose to leave, their presence lingering like a shadow in the corner of the room. Alara watched them go, a sense of wonder mingling with a quiet certainty that their paths would cross again. With the stranger's departure, the room seemed to settle into a peaceful silence, the fire's glow a comforting presence against the dark. Alara returned to her journal, her pen poised to capture the essence of the evening's encounter. She wrote with a renewed sense of purpose, her words a testament to the enduring power of stories and the connections they forge between hearts and minds. And as the night wore on, she felt a stirring within her, a call to continue her journey, to seek out the stories that waited in the shadows, and to uncover the truths that lay hidden in the folds of time. For the legend of the Bell Witch was not just a tale of the past, but a living testament to the magic that dwelled in the world, waiting to be discovered by those with the courage to seek it. The room, now devoid of the enigmatic presence, seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if the very walls had been holding their breath during the stranger's visit. The soft rustle of pages turning was the only sound, as Alara continued to write in her journal, her thoughts weaving a tapestry of words that captured the essence of the evening's mysterious encounter. Outside, the night was a vast canvas of inky blackness, punctuated by the distant glow of stars that seemed to twinkle in response to the stories being etched into existence within the cabin. The cool breeze whispered through the trees, its gentle caress a reminder of the world beyond these four walls, where the stories of old mingled with the dreams of the living. Alara paused in her writing, her gaze drifting to the window. The world outside was an ocean of shadows, shifting and dancing in the moonlight. She felt a familiar pull, a tug at her heart that urged her to step beyond the threshold of her sanctuary and into the embrace of the night. The legend of the Bell Witch was calling to her, its voice a melody woven from the threads of history and myth. With a sense of purpose, Alara rose from her chair, her movements fluid and deliberate. She donned her cloak, its fabric a comforting weight upon her shoulders, and stepped out into the night. The air was crisp and invigorating, filling her lungs with a sense of vitality that seemed to echo the whispers of the past. The path through the woods was a ribbon of silver beneath the moon's gentle gaze, leading her deeper into the heart of the legend that had captured her imagination. Each step seemed to echo with the footsteps of those who had come before, their stories etched into the very fabric of the earth beneath her feet. As she walked, Alara's thoughts turned to the stranger, their presence a puzzle that lingered in her mind. There was a familiarity to them, a sense that they were not merely a passerby, but a key to unlocking the mysteries she sought to understand. The connection they shared was a thread that bound their fates together, weaving a story that had yet to be told. The forest around her was alive with the sounds of the night, a symphony of crickets and rustling leaves that seemed to harmonize with the rhythm of her footsteps. In the distance, the mournful call of an owl echoed through the trees, its voice a reminder of the secrets that lay hidden in the shadows. Alara's path led her to a clearing bathed in moonlight, where the remnants of an old stone circle stood like silent sentinels guarding the mysteries of the past. The stones were ancient and weathered, their surfaces etched with symbols that spoke of a time long forgotten. Here, in this sacred space, the veil between worlds seemed thinner, the air tingling with the magic of the unseen. She approached the stones with reverence, her fingers tracing the carvings that told stories of old. Each symbol was a chapter in a tale that had been written in the language of the earth and sky, a testament to the enduring power of the legend that had drawn her here. As she stood in the circle, Alara felt a presence, a gentle brush against her consciousness that spoke of an ancient wisdom that transcended time. It was as if the spirits of the past were reaching out to her, their voices a chorus of whispers that spoke of hope and courage, of love and sacrifice. In that moment, Alara understood that the legend of the Bell Witch was not just a story of haunting and fear, but a tapestry woven from the threads of human experience. It was a tale of resilience and redemption, of the enduring bond between the living and the dead, and the eternal dance of light and shadow. The wind stirred the leaves around her, carrying with it the scent of earth and rain, a promise of renewal and growth. Alara closed her eyes, allowing the magic of the moment to wash over her, to fill her with a sense of peace and purpose that resonated deep within her soul. When she opened her eyes, the clearing seemed to shimmer with a soft glow, as if the very air was charged with the energy of the stories yet to be told. Alara knew then that her journey was far from over, that the legend of the Bell Witch was a living story, waiting to be discovered and shared with the world. With renewed determination, she turned away from the stone circle, her heart a compass guiding her back to the path she must follow. The night embraced her as she walked, the shadows a comforting presence that whispered of the adventures yet to come. As she made her way back to the cabin, Alara felt a sense of connection to the world around her, a bond that transcended time and space. The legend of the Bell Witch was a part of her now, a story that had woven itself into the very fabric of her being, its magic a guiding light in the darkness. The cabin welcomed her back with open arms, the fire's glow a warm embrace that dispelled the chill of the night. Alara settled into her chair, her journal open before her, ready to capture the tales of the evening's adventure. Her pen moved across the page with a fluid grace, each word a testament to the stories that had been shared and the journey that lay ahead. The legend of the Bell Witch was no longer just a tale of the past, but a living story, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the magic that dwells within us all. As the hours slipped by, the fire crackled softly in the hearth, its warmth a comforting presence that wrapped around Alara like a gentle embrace. The night stretched on, a canvas of dreams and stories waiting to be told, and Alara knew that her journey was only just beginning. The legend of the Bell Witch was a story that would continue to unfold, its magic a beacon that called to those with the courage to seek it out. And as Alara wrote, she felt a sense of peace and purpose, knowing that she was a part of something greater, a journey that would continue to inspire and enchant for generations to come. The morning sun spilled over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of rose and amber, as if the world itself were awakening from a long-forgotten dream. Alara stirred from her slumber, the remnants of the night's visions still clinging to the edges of her consciousness like the dew on the grass outside. The whispers of the Bell Witch echoed softly in her mind, a melody of mystery and magic that bade her to rise and continue her quest. As she stepped out onto the veranda, the crisp air filled her lungs with a refreshing clarity. The landscape, bathed in the soft glow of dawn, seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the day's stories to unfold. Alara knew that the legend she was unraveling was not just a tale of the past, but a tapestry interwoven with her own present, each thread a connection to the spirits and secrets that lingered in the corners of this world. Her path took her deeper into the woods that bordered the old Bell family estate, where shadows danced playfully among the trees, whispering secrets that only the wind could hear. The forest was alive with the soft rustle of leaves and the distant call of a bird hidden among the branches. Every step seemed to resonate with an ancient rhythm, as if the earth itself were guiding her forward, urging her to uncover the mysteries that lay hidden beneath its surface. It wasn't long before Alara stumbled upon a clearing, a place where the light seemed to gather in golden pools, illuminating a small, weathered cabin that stood in serene solitude. The structure appeared untouched by time, as if it had been plucked from the pages of a forgotten story. She approached cautiously, her heart beating with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation, the air around her electric with possibilities. As she stepped inside, the cabin welcomed her with an unexpected warmth. Dust motes danced in the shafts of sunlight that streamed through the windows, and the scent of aged wood filled the space with a comforting familiarity. Alara's gaze was drawn to a collection of objects scattered across a wooden table, old letters, a tarnished locket, and a faded photograph that seemed to capture the essence of a time long past. Her fingers gently traced the edges of the photograph, the image of a family frozen in a moment of joy and togetherness. Their smiles seemed to radiate a quiet strength, a testament to the bonds that had both held them together and ultimately been tested by the enigmatic presence of the Bell Witch. Alara could feel the weight of their story pressing against her heart, urging her to delve deeper, to understand the truths that lay beneath the surface of legend. As she examined the letters, the faded ink revealed fragments of conversations, moments of love and loss shared between the lines. There were pleas for understanding, expressions of fear, and the occasional note of defiance against the unseen forces that had once haunted the family. Each word was a brushstroke on the canvas of their lives, painting a picture of resilience and hope in the face of darkness. Lost in thought, Alara nearly missed the sound, a gentle, rhythmic tapping that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the cabin. It was a sound she had heard before, a familiar echo that tugged at her memory and sent a shiver down her spine. The tapping grew more insistent, as if seeking her attention, drawing her towards a hidden corner of the room. There, nestled among the shadows, was a small wooden chest, its surface worn smooth by the passage of time. The tapping ceased as she approached, replaced by a profound silence that seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her to uncover its secrets. With a mixture of curiosity and caution, Alara lifted the lid, revealing a collection of trinkets and charms, each one a piece of the puzzle that was the Bell Witch's legacy. Her fingers brushed against a delicate silver bell, its surface etched with intricate patterns that seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly light. As she picked it up, a feeling of connection surged through her, a sense of belonging to a story that transcended time. The bell was a key, a symbol of the magic that bound the past to the present, and Alara knew that its chime held the power to awaken the spirits of the forest, to call forth the echoes of the legend that had drawn her here. With a deep breath, she rang the bell, its clear, resonant tone echoing through the cabin and out into the woods beyond. The air seemed to shimmer in response, the forest holding its breath as if waiting for something to happen. And then, slowly, the world around her began to change. The light shifted, colors deepening and blending into one another, creating a tapestry of vibrant hues that seemed to pulse with life. The trees whispered secrets in a language she could almost understand, their leaves rustling in a symphony of sound that filled the air with an enchanting melody. It was as if the forest had awoken from a long slumber, its magic unfurling like the petals of a flower in bloom. Alara felt a presence beside her, a gentle touch that was both familiar and new. She turned to find herself face to face with a figure woven from the very fabric of the forest, a being whose eyes held the wisdom of ages past. The spirit, an embodiment of the Bell Witch's legacy, regarded her with a look of quiet understanding, as if acknowledging the journey she had undertaken. "Welcome, seeker of truths," the spirit spoke, its voice a soft caress that resonated within her soul. "You have come far, guided by the echoes of the past, to uncover the stories that bind us all." Alara nodded, her heart full of questions, yet finding solace in the presence of this ethereal guide. The spirit gestured towards the forest, inviting her to walk beside it, to journey further into the heart of the legend that had drawn her here. Together, they moved through the woods, the path unfolding before them like the pages of an ancient book waiting to be read. As they walked, the spirit shared tales of the Bell Witch, stories that had been whispered through generations, each one a thread in the tapestry of magic and mystery. Alara listened, captivated by the richness of the narrative, the depth of emotion that resonated in every word. The legend was not just a story of fear and darkness, but a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a celebration of the bonds that connect us all. With each step, Alara felt herself becoming more entwined with the legend, her own story woven into the fabric of the Bell Witch's tale. She understood now that her journey was not just about uncovering the past, but about embracing the magic that lay within her, the strength to face the unknown and the courage to seek out the light in the shadows. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden glow over the forest, Alara knew that her journey was far from over. The Bell Witch's legacy was a living story, one that would continue to unfold, its magic a beacon that called to those with the courage to seek it out. And as she walked beside the spirit, she felt a sense of peace and purpose, knowing that she was a part of something greater, a journey that would inspire and enchant for generations to come. As dusk cloaked the forest in a velvety embrace, the air shimmered with an ethereal luminescence, as if the very essence of the place was alive with whispered secrets. The path beneath Alara's feet was soft, her footsteps muffled by the carpet of fallen leaves, each one a delicate shade of autumn's palette. The symphony of twilight filled the woods, the distant hoot of an owl, the gentle rustle of trees swaying in the evening breeze, and the occasional snap of a twig echoing like a promise of mysteries yet to unravel. Alara's heart beat in time with the rhythm of the forest, a steady cadence that resonated through her very being. She could feel the presence of the Bell Witch more keenly now, a subtle energy that danced along her skin like static electricity. It was as if the spirit was a part of the land itself, an ancient guardian woven into the tapestry of time and nature. This realization filled Alara with a profound sense of awe, for she understood that she was not just an observer of the legend, but an integral part of its unfolding narrative. Every legend, she mused, is a living entity, shaped by those who tell and retell its tales. As the Bell Witch's story continued to evolve, Alara found herself wondering about the countless lives that had been touched by its magic. She imagined the generations of people who had walked this path before her, each leaving an indelible mark on the legend, their hopes and fears mingling with the whispers of the trees. Ahead, a clearing opened up, bathed in the last light of the setting sun. The sky overhead was a canvas of vivid colors, fiery oranges and soft purples blending seamlessly into the deepening blue of night. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak, its gnarled branches reaching skyward, silhouetted against the twilight. Alara felt drawn to the tree, as if it held within its bark the stories of the ages. As she approached, the air seemed to hum with a gentle vibration, a melody that resonated in her bones. The Bell Witch's presence grew stronger, a comforting warmth that enveloped her like a cloak. She reached out, her fingers brushing the rough bark, and felt a surge of energy, a connection that transcended time and space. It was as if the tree itself was a conduit for the spirit, a bridge between the worlds of the living and the ethereal. Alara closed her eyes, letting the sensations wash over her. Images flickered in her mind's eye, glimpses of the past, scenes from the life of the Bell Witch, and the many souls who had encountered her over the centuries. She saw a young woman, her eyes alight with mischief, laughter spilling from her lips as she danced beneath the moonlit sky. She saw a family, huddled together in a rustic cabin, their expressions a mix of fear and wonder as they listened to the tales of the witch who haunted their land. And then she saw herself, standing in the clearing, her heart open to the possibilities of the unknown. She realized that her journey was not just a search for answers, but a quest to embrace the magic that lay within her own heart. The Bell Witch had been a guide, a catalyst for her transformation, helping her to see the world through the lens of wonder and possibility. As the last rays of the sun dipped below the horizon, the clearing was bathed in the soft glow of the moon. The stars began to twinkle overhead, tiny beacons of light in the vast expanse of night. Alara felt a sense of peace settle over her, a deep knowing that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The Bell Witch's voice echoed in her mind, a gentle whisper that carried the wisdom of the ages. Every journey is a story, the spirit intoned, and every story is a thread in the tapestry of life. You are a part of this legend now, Alara, and it is you who will carry it forward, sharing the magic with those who are willing to listen. Alara opened her eyes, a smile playing on her lips. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, a clarity of vision that would guide her in the days to come. She knew that the legend of the Bell Witch was not just a story to be told, but a living, breathing entity, one that would continue to inspire and enchant for generations. As she turned to leave the clearing, the path before her illuminated by the silver glow of the moon, she felt the spirit's presence linger, a comforting reminder that she was never truly alone. The forest seemed to sing with possibility, each step a promise of new adventures, new stories waiting to be discovered. Alara walked with a lightness in her heart, her senses attuned to the magic of the world around her. The night was alive with sound and scent, the crispness of fallen leaves beneath her feet, the earthy aroma of the forest floor mingling with the cool, clean air. She breathed it all in, savoring the moment, knowing that this was just the beginning. As she made her way back through the woods, the legend of the Bell Witch echoed in her mind, a melody that would guide her on her journey. She understood now that the legend was not just a story of fear and darkness, but a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a celebration of the bonds that connect us all. With each step, Alara felt herself becoming more entwined with the legend, her own story woven into the fabric of the Bell Witch's tale. She understood now that her journey was not just about uncovering the past, but about embracing the magic that lay within her, the strength to face the unknown and the courage to seek out the light in the shadows. As the night deepened, the forest wrapped her in its embrace, its whispers a soothing lullaby that accompanied her on her way. And as she walked with the spirit of the Bell Witch beside her, Alara felt a sense of peace and purpose, knowing that she was a part of something greater, a journey that would inspire and enchant for generations to come. The legend was alive, a beacon of magic and mystery, calling to all who dared to dream. The moon hung like a silent guardian in the sky, its silver light spilling over the forest in ethereal waves, casting elongated shadows that danced with secrets untold. Alara moved with a newfound grace, her footsteps light upon the carpet of leaves that whispered beneath her. The forest was alive with sounds, a symphony of nature that sang to her spirit, each note a reminder of the life that pulsed through the veins of the earth. As she ventured deeper, the air grew cooler, kissed by a gentle breeze that carried with it the scent of damp earth and wildflowers. The path ahead was a ribbon of possibility, winding through the trees like a river of dreams. Alara's heart beat in time with the rhythm of the forest, a steady drum that echoed the pulse of the world around her. In the distance, she heard the soft murmur of water, a stream hidden among the shadows. It called to her, its voice a siren song that tugged at her curiosity. She followed the sound, her steps guided by instinct and the gentle pull of the legend that enveloped her. The stream appeared as if by magic, its waters glistening in the moonlight like liquid silver. Alara knelt beside it, the coolness of the water a balm against her skin as she cupped her hands to drink. The forest seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for something to unfold. Alara sat by the stream's edge, her reflection rippling in the water, a mirror to the soul-searching journey she had embarked upon. As she gazed into the depths, she saw not only herself but a tapestry of faces, the spirits of those who had come before her, woven into the legacy of the Bell Witch. The air crackled with energy, a feeling both electric and serene. Alara closed her eyes, allowing the forest to speak to her in its ancient tongue. Images flickered behind her eyelids, visions of times long past and futures yet to be written. She saw the Bell family, their lives entwined with the supernatural, their courage a beacon in the darkness. She saw the witch herself, a misunderstood figure whose story had been twisted by fear and the passage of time. And she saw herself, a thread in the intricate tapestry, her presence a bridge between worlds. The realization filled her with a sense of awe and humility. She was not merely a traveler in this world of shadows, she was a part of it, a guardian of its secrets and a keeper of its stories. With renewed purpose, Alara rose, her eyes reflecting the determination that burned within her. The path of the legend lay before her, a journey of discovery that promised both challenge and wonder. She moved with the assurance of one who has found her place in the grand scheme of things, her heart a compass that guided her through the night. As she walked, the forest shifted around her, the trees whispering secrets of their own. The air shimmered with possibilities, each step a dance with destiny. The path led her to a clearing, a circle of ancient stones standing sentinel beneath the starlit sky. They were worn with age, their surfaces etched with symbols that spoke of magic and mystery. Alara stepped into the circle, the stones humming with energy as she passed between them. She felt a tingling in her fingertips, a sensation of being connected to something greater than herself. The air was thick with anticipation, the forest holding its breath once more. In the center of the circle, a figure appeared, a specter of light and shadow that shimmered like a mirage. It was the Bell Witch, her presence both formidable and serene. Her eyes were pools of wisdom, reflecting the knowledge of 1,000 lifetimes. Alara felt no fear, only a sense of kinship, as if she were meeting an old friend. The witch regarded her with a gaze that seemed to pierce the veil of time, her voice a melody that resonated in the stillness. "You have come far, child of the earth," the witch said, her words a gentle caress. "You seek the truth and carry the weight of the past with grace. But remember, the legend is not merely a story to be unraveled. It is a living thing, a testament to the power of belief and the strength found in unity." Alara nodded, understanding that her journey was not just about uncovering the secrets of the past, but about embracing the magic of the present. The witch's presence was a reminder that legends are born from the hearts of those who dare to believe, who see beyond the veil of the ordinary into the realm of the extraordinary. The witch extended a hand, a gesture of trust and guidance. Alara took it, feeling the warmth of connection flow through her, a current that linked them across time and space. Together, they stood in the circle of stones, a symbol of the unbroken chain of stories that wove through the ages. As the night wore on, Alara felt the boundaries of reality blur, the forest and its magic enveloping her like a dream. The legend was no longer a distant tale to be deciphered but a living, breathing entity that pulsed with life. She was a part of it, her story a thread in the tapestry of the Bell Witch's tale. And as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, painting the sky with hues of gold and rose, Alara knew that her journey was far from over. The legend had only begun to unfold, its mysteries beckoning her to delve deeper, to explore the shadows and seek the light that lay within. With the spirit of the Bell Witch beside her, Alara stepped forward into the new day, her heart alight with hope and wonder. The forest sang with the promise of adventure, its whispers a lullaby that would guide her through the days to come. The legend was alive, a story that would continue to be told, a beacon of magic and mystery that called to all who dared to dream. And Alara knew that she would be its guardian, its keeper, the one who would carry its light into the future, illuminating the path for those who would follow in her footsteps. As the dawn light spread its gentle fingers across the land, Alara felt a warmth envelop her, as if the very air was charged with the energy of untold stories. The forest around her seemed to breathe in sync with her own breath, the trees swaying slightly as if acknowledging her presence and her newfound purpose. The birds began their morning chorus, a symphony of nature that harmonized with the rustling leaves and the distant babbling of a hidden brook. Alara's path was no longer uncertain, it was a winding road paved with the promise of discovery. She felt an invigorating thrill in her veins, a pulse that synced with the heartbeat of the forest. The Bell Witch was no longer a distant legend, she had become a companion, a guide who whispered secrets in Alara's ear, urging her to trust her instincts and follow the path that lay before her. As she walked deeper into the woods, the shadows danced around her, weaving patterns on the forest floor that changed with every step. The sunlight filtered through the canopy, creating dapples of light that seemed to lead her forward, beckoning her to explore the depths of the forest. Each step felt like a step into another world, a place where time was fluid and reality was ever shifting. Alara felt her senses sharpen, each sound and scent heightened as she moved through the forest. The earthy aroma of damp soil mingled with the fresh scent of pine, and the occasional flutter of wings reminded her of the vibrant life that surrounded her. Her heart beat in tune with the gentle thrum of the earth, and she knew that she was exactly where she was meant to be. The path led her to a clearing, a hidden glade where the sunlight bathed the earth in a warm glow. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches stretching skyward as if trying to touch the heavens. Alara felt drawn to it, sensing that this tree held a piece of the puzzle she sought to unravel. As she approached, the whispers of the forest hushed, as if holding its breath in anticipation. Alara placed her hand on the rough bark of the oak, feeling the life pulsing beneath her fingers. She closed her eyes, letting the energy of the tree flow into her, connecting her to the spirit of the land. It was a moment of profound connection, a merging of souls that transcended time and space. In that moment, Alara understood that the Bell Witch was not just a presence to be feared or revered. She was a part of the earth, a guardian of the secrets hidden within the roots and stones. The stories that had been told about her were but fragments, echoes of a truth that had been buried beneath layers of history and myth. Alara felt a surge of determination, a resolve to uncover the truth and share it with the world. She knew that her journey would not be easy, that there would be challenges and dangers along the way. But she also knew that she was not alone, that the spirit of the Bell Witch would guide her, lighting her path with the brilliance of ancient wisdom. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Alara lingered in the clearing, soaking in the beauty and serenity of the moment. The world outside seemed distant, a mere shadow compared to the vibrant life that pulsed around her. She felt a sense of peace, a calm certainty that she was where she needed to be. With renewed determination, Alara turned away from the oak tree and continued on her path. The forest closed in around her once more, its shadows deepening as the sun moved across the sky. She walked with purpose, her steps sure and confident, guided by an unseen hand that led her toward her destiny. Time seemed to blur as she journeyed deeper into the woods, the landscape shifting around her in a dance of light and shadow. The forest was a living entity, a realm that existed outside the boundaries of the mundane world. Alara felt a kinship with the trees and the creatures that called this place home, a connection that went beyond words. As the day wore on, Alara's path led her to a narrow stream, its waters sparkling in the afternoon sun. She knelt by the bank, cupping her hands to drink the cool, refreshing water. The stream seemed to sing to her, its melody a promise of secrets yet to be revealed. Alara sat by the stream, reflecting on her journey so far. She thought of the stories she had heard, the tales of the Bell Witch that had both intrigued and terrified her. She realized that the legend was not just about the witch herself, but about the land and the people who had been touched by her presence. It was a story of hope and fear, of light and darkness intertwined in an eternal dance. As the shadows lengthened and the light began to fade, Alara rose to her feet, ready to continue her journey. The forest was her home now, a place where the boundaries between reality and myth were fluid, where dreams could take shape and become reality. The path ahead was still shrouded in mystery, but Alara felt no fear. She was a part of the legend now, a guardian of its secrets, a keeper of its light. And as she walked into the gathering dusk, she knew that her journey was only just beginning, that the tale of the Bell Witch would continue to unfold, its magic and mystery a beacon that would guide her through the days to come. Alara's heart was alight with hope, her spirit buoyed by the promise of adventure. The forest was alive with possibilities, its whispers a song that resonated within her soul. And as the first stars began to twinkle in the night sky, she felt a sense of wonder, a joy that filled her being and carried her forward into the unknown. The legend was alive, a story that would continue to be told, a beacon of magic and mystery that called to all who dared to dream. And Alara knew that she would be its guardian, its keeper, the one who would carry its light into the future, illuminating the path for those who would follow in her footsteps. As Alara ventured deeper into the forest, the air around her seemed to hum with an energy that was both ancient and new. The leaves rustled softly in the breeze, their gentle whispers forming an ethereal melody that echoed in her ears. She felt the earth beneath her feet, each step a connection to the stories and secrets that lay buried in the soil. The forest was a living tapestry, woven with threads of history and enchantment, and Alara was now a part of its intricate design. The path she followed was illuminated by the silvery glow of the moon, casting a gentle light that danced across the ground. Shadows played along the edges of her vision, but they held no threat. Instead, they seemed to guide her, leading her toward an unknown destination that beckoned with silent promise. The air was crisp, carrying with it the scent of pine and earth, a fragrance that filled her senses and grounded her in the moment. As she walked, Alara's thoughts drifted back to the events that had led her here. The whispers of the Bell Witch, the visions that had danced before her eyes, and the ancient voices that had spoken to her in dreams. All had guided her to this point, shaping her journey with unseen hands. She had learned to trust in the magic that surrounded her, to listen to the quiet wisdom of the forest, and to follow the path that had been laid before her. The forest seemed to pulse with life, its heartbeat a rhythm that matched her own. Every rustle of leaves, every chirp of a hidden cricket, and every distant call of a night bird was a note in the symphony of the night. Alara felt the pulse of the earth beneath her feet, a gentle, reassuring thrum that spoke of continuity, of life persisting through the ages. As she continued her journey, she became aware of a subtle shift in the air around her. The whispers of the forest grew more insistent, their melody tinged with urgency. It was as if the very trees leaned in to confide in her, their secrets pressing against the boundaries of her understanding. Alara paused, closing her eyes to better hear the ancient song that filled the air. In that moment of stillness, she felt a presence beside her, a gentle, comforting force that wrapped around her like a cloak. She opened her eyes to find a soft glow emanating from the depths of the forest, a light that shimmered with all the colors of the aurora. It was beautiful, its luminescence casting a warm glow that dispelled the shadows and filled the clearing with a sense of peace. Alara took a step forward, drawn toward the light. As she approached, She realized that it emanated from a small crystal, half buried in the mossy ground. The crystal pulsed with a gentle light, its surface etched with delicate patterns that seemed to shift and change as she watched. She knelt before it, entranced by the beauty of the artifact. As her fingers brushed against the crystal, a vision unfurled before her, a tapestry of images and sensations that flooded her mind. She saw the forest as it had once been, untouched by time, its trees reaching toward the heavens in a dance of life and growth. She saw the spirits of the land, guardians of the ancient magic that lay hidden beneath the surface, their forms shifting and blending with the elements. In the vision, she saw herself, a part of the fabric of the forest, her essence intertwined with the magic that surrounded her. She understood then that she was not merely a visitor in this world, but a vital thread in its tapestry, a bridge between the past and the future, between the seen and the unseen. The vision faded, leaving Alara with a sense of clarity and purpose. The crystal lay warm in her hand, its light a beacon that would guide her on her journey. She felt the weight of the responsibility she carried, but also the joy that came with it, the knowledge that she was part of something greater than herself, a guardian of the legend that would continue to unfold. Alara rose, her heart swelling with a newfound resolve. She tucked the crystal safely into her pouch, feeling its warmth against her side. The forest around her seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if acknowledging her role in its story and accepting her as one of its own. With renewed determination, Alara continued along the path, guided by the light of the moon and the gentle pull of the crystal. Her steps were sure, her spirit buoyed by the knowledge that she was not alone, that the forest walked with her, its magic a constant companion on her journey. As the night deepened, the stars above shone with a brilliance that seemed to light the very heavens. Alara paused to gaze upward, marveling at the vast expanse of the universe that stretched above her. Each star was a point of light, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was always hope, always a path to follow. The forest was a world of its own, a realm of magic and mystery that existed just beyond the edges of the known. Alara felt the pull of its secrets, the allure of its untold stories, and she knew that her journey was far from over. There were paths yet to be discovered, mysteries yet to be unveiled, and she was eager to explore them all. As the first light of dawn began to paint the sky, Alara felt a sense of peace settle over her. The challenges she had faced, the dangers she had overcome, and the lessons she had learned had all led her to this moment, a moment of clarity and purpose, of understanding and acceptance. The forest was her home now, its magic a part of her very being. She was its guardian, its keeper, and she would carry its light into the future, illuminating the path for those who would follow. The legend of the Bell Witch was alive, a story that would continue to be told, a beacon of magic and mystery that called to all who dared to dream. And so, with the dawn breaking over the horizon and the promise of a new day before her, Alara stepped forward into the light, her heart full of hope and her spirit ready for the adventures that awaited. The journey was only just beginning, and she was ready to embrace it with open arms, guided by the light of the legend and the magic of the forest. The sun's golden rays filtered through the dense canopy, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. The morning air was crisp, carrying with it the earthy scent of damp leaves and rich soil. Alara inhaled deeply, feeling the rejuvenating energy of the forest seep into her bones. She stood at the edge of a clearing, the soft grass underfoot still glistening with morning dew. In the quiet solitude of this moment, Alara's thoughts drifted to the legends that had drawn her here. The Bell Witch, a tale whispered in hushed tones, both feared and revered. It was said to be a spirit, a guardian of the forest, a keeper of secrets, and a protector of the land's ancient magic. But Alara had learned that the truth was more complex, the legend not merely a ghost story but a living, breathing presence woven into the fabric of the forest itself. The path ahead was shrouded in mist, the morning fog curling around the trunks of ancient trees like a silken veil. Alara knew that the forest was alive with enchantment, each step she took resonating with the whispers of the past. She pressed forward, her senses attuned to the subtle signs of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a bird, the faint trickle of a hidden stream. As she walked, Alara's mind wandered back to the encounters she had faced, the mysteries she had unraveled. There had been moments of peril, times when the shadows seemed to close in around her. Yet, there had always been a guiding light, a thread of magic that had led her through the darkness. She remembered the night she had faced the shadowy figure, the embodiment of fear and uncertainty. It had been a test, a trial of courage and conviction. In confronting the specter, Alara had discovered a strength she hadn't known she possessed. She had stood her ground, her heart steady and her mind clear, refusing to be swayed by fear. In that moment, the shadow had dissipated, revealing its true nature, a guardian, a protector of the ancient magic, testing her resolve and worthiness. Alara had passed the test, earning the trust of the forest and the spirit within. She had become part of the legend, a living testament to the power of courage and the strength of belief. The forest had embraced her, its magic now intertwined with her own. The path led her to a grove of towering oaks, their branches forming a natural archway overhead. The air was thick with the scent of pine and moss, a heady aroma that filled her senses. Alara paused, her gaze drawn to a small stone altar nestled amidst the roots of the largest tree. It was adorned with offerings, feathers, smooth river stones, and delicate wildflowers, tokens of respect and gratitude left by those who had come before her. Alara knelt before the altar, her fingers tracing the intricate carvings etched into the stone. The symbols were ancient, their meaning obscured by time, yet she felt a connection to them, an understanding that transcended words. She closed her eyes, allowing the forest's magic to wash over her, feeling the pulse of life that thrummed beneath the earth. In the stillness, Alara heard a soft melody, a haunting tune carried on the breeze. It was a song of the forest, a lullaby of nature that spoke of peace and harmony, of balance and renewal. The music wrapped around her, filling her with a sense of calm and purpose. But the tranquility was not to last. From the shadows emerged a figure, cloaked in mist and mystery. It was a woman, her features obscured by a hood, her presence both ethereal and commanding. Alara felt no fear, only curiosity and an overwhelming sense of familiarity. The woman spoke, her voice a gentle whisper, yet it resonated with power. "You have come far, Alara. You have faced your fears and embraced the magic of the forest. But your journey is not yet complete." Alara met the woman's gaze, her eyes filled with determination. "I am ready," she replied, her voice steady and sure. "I will protect the forest and its secrets. I will keep the legend alive." The woman smiled, a gesture of warmth and approval. "The forest has chosen well. You are its guardian now, its protector and keeper. But remember, the path is ever changing, and the magic is always evolving. Stay true to your heart, and you will find your way." With those words, the woman stepped back, her form dissolving into the mist, leaving Alara alone once more. But Alara was not afraid. She knew that she carried the spirit of the forest within her, a beacon of light and hope. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Alara rose, her heart full of resolve. She turned her gaze to the path ahead, a trail winding deeper into the heart of the forest, beckoning her to explore its wonders, to uncover its secrets. With each step, she felt the bond between her and the forest grow stronger, an unbreakable connection forged in trials and triumphs. Alara knew that the legend of the Bell Witch was not just a story, but a living legacy, a testament to the enduring power of nature and the magic that flowed through all things. And so, with the song of the forest echoing in her heart, Alara continued her journey, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited her, guided by the light of the legend and the wisdom of the ages. The forest was her home, its secrets her inheritance, and its magic her destiny. In the quiet of the forest, beneath the ancient trees and the watchful gaze of the spirits, Alara walked on, her spirit soaring, her heart alight with the promise of a new day and the endless possibilities it held. The legend of the Bell Witch was alive, a story that would endure, a beacon of magic and mystery that called to all who dared to dream. Alara's journey through the heart of the forest was like a dance with time itself, each step a note in a symphony that had been playing for centuries. The air around her was thick with the scent of moss and earth, mingling with the distant whisper of leaves rustling against one another. It was a melody that spoke of ancient secrets, of stories woven into the very fabric of the land. The path she tread was not one marked on any map, but rather one revealed by the gentle guidance of nature's hand. Sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor, as if the trees themselves were painting visions of forgotten tales across her path. The shadows danced with the light, creating a tapestry of mystery that beckoned her deeper into the woods. As Alara walked, she could feel the presence of the forest spirits beside her, their unseen hands guiding her through the labyrinth of trees and brambles. They were her silent companions, guardians of the ancient woods, whispering wisdom and encouragement into her soul. The forest was alive with their energy, a pulse that matched her own heartbeat, a rhythm that resonated with her very being. Every so often, a sudden rustle in the underbrush would startle her, a reminder that she was not alone in this enchanted realm. Her senses were heightened, attuned to the smallest changes in her surroundings. The call of a distant bird, the crack of a twig underfoot, the sudden flurry of a squirrel darting up a tree. All these sounds were part of the forest's language, a language Alara was slowly beginning to understand. She paused for a moment by a small stream that wound its way through the trees, its waters clear and sparkling in the sunlight. Kneeling beside it, she cupped her hands and drank deeply, the cool liquid refreshing her spirit as well as her body. The stream sang its own song, a gentle, burbling tune that spoke of journeys both near and far, of life flowing onward despite the obstacles it encountered. As she rose to continue her journey, a sense of unease washed over her, a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature of the air. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something unseen to reveal itself. Alara's heart quickened, a thrill of anticipation mixed with a twinge of fear. She knew she was on the cusp of something significant, a revelation that would change everything. The path wound upwards, leading her to a small clearing bathed in golden light. At its center stood an ancient oak, its gnarled branches reaching skyward like the arms of a giant beckoning her closer. There was something both comforting and formidable about the tree, a presence that exuded wisdom and strength. As she approached, Alara noticed something unusual at the base of the tree, a small, weathered chest, half buried in the earth and covered in moss. Her heart leapt at the sight, a surge of curiosity and excitement igniting within her. She knelt beside the chest, brushing away the moss with gentle fingers, revealing intricate carvings that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. With a deep breath, she reached for the rusted latch, her fingers trembling with a mixture of trepidation and eagerness. The chest opened with a soft creak, revealing its contents, a collection of objects that spoke of a time long past. There were scrolls of parchment, brittle with age, their surfaces covered in elegant script. There were small trinkets, amulets that seemed to pulse with a faint energy, and a delicate necklace that gleamed with an otherworldly light. Alara's fingers brushed over the items, each one telling a story of its own, a fragment of a history she had only begun to understand. As she examined them, a sense of recognition washed over her, as if she were not discovering these objects for the first time, but rather remembering them, recalling a knowledge that had been asleep within her for far too long. Among the treasures, her attention was drawn to a single scroll, its edges frayed and fragile. She unrolled it carefully, her eyes scanning the elegant script that danced across its surface. The words seemed to shimmer, as if alive with the magic of the forest itself. They spoke of an ancient pact, a bond between the living and the spirits, a promise to protect and cherish the magic of the woods. Alara felt a warmth spread through her chest, a sense of belonging that she had never experienced before. This was her legacy, her inheritance, the promise of the forest, the call of the Bell Witch. It was a promise that she would honor, a duty that she would uphold, carrying the magic of this place within her as she walked her path. As she rolled the scroll back up, a gentle breeze stirred the leaves around her, carrying with it the scent of wildflowers and the distant call of the forest. It was a reminder that her journey was far from over, that there were still mysteries to uncover and stories to tell. With newfound purpose, Alara rose to her feet, the treasures of the chest safely tucked away in her satchel. The forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, as if acknowledging her resolve, its energy enveloping her in a warm embrace. The path before her was unknown, a winding trail through the heart of the woods, but Alara no longer felt lost. She was guided by the whispers of the past, the wisdom of the spirits, and the magic of the Bell Witch. The forest was her home, its secrets her guide, and its magic her destiny. And so she continued on, the song of the forest echoing in her heart, her spirit soaring with the promise of a new day and the endless possibilities it held. The legend of the Bell Witch was alive within her, a beacon of magic and mystery that called to all who dared to dream. As Alara ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, the world around her seemed to shift and dance with every step she took. The ancient trees whispered their secrets, their leaves rustling in a language only those truly attuned could hear. Shafts of golden sunlight pierced the canopy, casting intricate patterns on the forest floor that seemed almost alive. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and the sweet aroma of blooming wildflowers, a heady perfume that filled her senses and invigorated her spirit. With each footfall, Alara felt a growing connection to the land, as if the very essence of the forest was becoming a part of her. The path was winding and unpredictable, yet she walked with a confidence that belied the uncertainty of her journey. Her heart was a compass, guided by the unseen forces that had drawn her this far. She knew that she was not walking alone. The spirits of the forest were with her, their presence a comforting weight on her shoulders. As the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky, Alara came upon a clearing. It was a place of serene beauty, a tranquil oasis amidst the tangled wilderness. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak, its gnarled branches stretching heavenward like the arms of a wise elder. Its bark was rough and weathered, yet there was a vitality in its presence that spoke of strength and resilience. Alara approached the oak with reverence, sensing that it was a guardian of this sacred space. As she laid a hand upon its trunk, a gentle warmth spread through her palm, and she closed her eyes, allowing herself to be enveloped by the spirit of the tree. For a moment, time seemed to stand still, the world falling away until all that remained was the steady pulse of life that thrummed beneath her fingertips. In that moment of stillness, Alara felt a shift within her, a subtle rearranging of the pieces of her soul. It was as if the tree was imparting its wisdom to her, sharing stories of the ages that it had witnessed, of the countless lives that had passed through this forest. She saw visions of ancient rituals performed beneath its boughs, of laughter and tears shared in its shade, and of the eternal cycle of life that it had come to embody. A soft rustling in the underbrush drew Alara back to the present. Opening her eyes, she found herself staring into the curious gaze of a doe, its dark eyes reflecting the light of the setting sun. There was an intelligence in its gaze, a knowing that spoke of the deeper mysteries of the forest. The doe stood motionless, as if waiting for something, and Alara felt an inexplicable urge to follow. With a graceful leap, the doe turned and bounded into the shadows of the forest, and Alara hurried to keep pace. The path was narrow and overgrown, the underbrush snagging at her clothes as she moved with a newfound urgency. She felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins, a thrill that quickened her pulse and sharpened her senses. As she followed the doe deeper into the forest, the world around her seemed to shift once more. The trees loomed larger, their branches forming a canopy so dense that it blotted out the sky. The air was cooler here, carrying with it the faintest hint of something ancient and powerful. It was a presence that Alara could feel in her bones, a force that resonated with the magic within her. The doe led her to the edge of a vast lake, its waters shimmering like liquid silver under the fading light. Alara's breath caught in her throat at the sight, the beauty of the scene almost overwhelming in its simplicity. The surface of the lake was as smooth as glass, reflecting the vibrant colors of the sunset in a breathtaking display of light and shadow. For a moment, all was silent, the only sound the gentle lapping of water against the shore. Then, as if on cue, the forest came alive with the symphony of night. Crickets sang their lullabies, frogs croaked in harmony, and the distant call of an owl echoed through the trees. It was a melody that spoke of the eternal dance of life, a song that had been sung since time immemorial. Alara felt a sense of peace settle over her, a profound stillness that filled the spaces within her that had long been empty. The mysteries of the forest were vast and unknowable, but in this moment, she felt as if she was a part of something far greater than herself. The legend of the Bell Witch was a tapestry woven with threads of magic and myth, and she was but one of its many strands. The doe stood at the water's edge, its reflection mirrored perfectly in the lake. It turned to look at Alara, its eyes filled with an understanding that transcended words. In that silent exchange, Alara felt a promise, a bond forged in the heart of the forest. She knew that she was meant to follow this path, to uncover the secrets that lay hidden in the depths of the wilderness. With a final nod, the doe turned and vanished into the shadows, leaving Alara alone on the shore. She watched its retreating form, feeling a pang of loss even as she knew that their paths would cross again. The forest was full of mysteries, and she had only just begun to uncover its secrets. As the last light of day faded from the sky, Alara settled at the base of a nearby tree, her eyes fixed on the shimmering waters of the lake. There was a quiet strength in the solitude, a sense of belonging that filled her with hope and determination. The journey ahead was uncertain, but she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay in her path. The night stretched on, the stars emerging one by one until the sky was a canvas of twinkling lights. Alara felt the pull of sleep, her eyelids growing heavy as the gentle murmur of the forest lulled her into a dream-filled slumber. In her dreams, she saw visions of the past and glimpses of the future, a tapestry of moments woven together by the threads of destiny. When she awoke, the first light of dawn was breaking over the horizon, painting the world in hues of gold and lavender. The air was crisp and clear, carrying with it the promise of a new day. Alara rose to her feet, feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin and the magic of the forest pulsing through her veins. With renewed purpose, she set off along the lakeshore, her path illuminated by the soft glow of morning. The journey was far from over, but she was no longer afraid. She carried with her the stories of the past, the wisdom of the spirits, and the magic of the Bell Witch, a legacy that she was destined to fulfill. And as she walked, the forest sang its song, a melody of hope and wonder that echoed in her heart, guiding her ever onward into the unknown. Alara's steps were light, her spirit buoyed by the forest's symphony, a chorus of rustling leaves, whispering winds, and the occasional call of a distant bird. Each note seemed to tell a story, each rustle a secret of the ancient woods. She marveled at the tapestry of life around her, woven with threads of sunlight and shadows, the intricate dance of existence unfolding with every step she took. The path along the lakeshore was lined with wildflowers, their petals dewy and vibrant under the morning sun. The lake itself mirrored the sky, a vast expanse of shimmering blues and purples, its surface occasionally broken by the playful leap of a fish or the gentle ripple of a breeze. Alara paused for a moment, her eyes tracing the lake's edge to the distant mountains, their peaks crowned with the soft glow of dawn. It was a scene painted by nature's own hand, serene and yet alive with an energy that seemed to pulse in time with her own heartbeat. As she continued her journey, Alara felt the presence of the Bell Witch more keenly than ever. It was an ethereal sensation, a gentle push at her back, guiding her forward, urging her to uncover the truths hidden within the forest's depths. The Bell Witch was not merely a specter of the past, but a force interwoven with the land itself, a guardian of secrets that had yet to be unveiled. The path soon led Alara to a grove of ancient oaks, their branches stretching towards the heavens, their trunks gnarled and wise. Here, the air was thick with magic, a tangible hum that resonated with her very soul. The grove was a sanctuary, a place where the veils between worlds were thin, where the spirit of the Bell Witch could be felt most strongly. Alara found herself drawn to the heart of the grove, where a circle of stones lay nestled among the roots of the oldest oak. The stones were covered in moss, their surfaces etched with runes and symbols that seemed to glow faintly in the dappled sunlight. She knelt beside them, her fingers tracing the ancient carvings, feeling the power that thrummed beneath the surface. It was here, she realized, that the stories of the past and the whispers of the spirits converged. Here, she would find the answers she sought, the key to understanding her connection to the Bell Witch and the legacy she was meant to uphold. Closing her eyes, Alara let herself be enveloped by the grove's magic. She felt the earth beneath her, solid and grounding, the pulse of life thrumming through the roots and into her bones. She listened to the whispers of the wind, the rustle of leaves, the distant calls of the forest's inhabitants, each sound a note in the symphony of existence. In this sacred space, time seemed to stretch and bend, the past and present merging into one. Alara saw visions once more, glimpses of a woman shrouded in mystery, her eyes alight with wisdom and power. She saw villagers gathered in the clearing, their faces a mix of awe and fear, as the woman wove spells and spoke prophecies that echoed through the ages. And then Alara saw herself, standing at the edge of the lake, the world reflected in her eyes. She saw the path she had traveled and the choices she had made, each step bringing her closer to this moment, to this place where destinies entwined. As the visions faded, Alara felt a warmth spread through her chest, a gentle reassurance that she was not alone. The Bell Witch was with her, a guide and protector, a spirit bound to the land and its people. It was a connection forged through time and magic, a bond that transcended the boundaries of life and death. When Alara opened her eyes, the grove seemed to shimmer with a newfound clarity. The runes on the stones glowed with a soft, steady light, and the magic that filled the air was no longer a mystery, but a familiar presence, a part of her very being. With a deep breath, Alara rose to her feet, her heart full of purpose and understanding. She knew now that her journey was not just a quest for answers, but a path to become a guardian of the land, a keeper of its stories and its magic. The Bell Witch had chosen her, and she embraced the legacy with open arms. Leaving the grove, Alara continued her journey along the lakeshore, her steps sure and steady. The forest sang its song, a melody of hope and wonder that echoed in her heart, guiding her ever onward into the unknown. She walked with the knowledge that she was part of something greater, a thread in the tapestry of life, woven together by the hands of fate and the spirits of the past. As the day wore on, the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting its golden rays upon the world. Alara felt its warmth on her skin, a reminder of the light that guided her path, even in the darkest of times. And though the road ahead was long and fraught with challenges, she was no longer afraid. For she carried with her the stories of those who came before, the wisdom of the spirits, and the magic of the Bell Witch, a legacy that she was destined to fulfill. And as she walked, the forest continued to sing, a melody of hope and wonder that echoed in her heart, guiding her ever onward into the unknown. As twilight descended, painting the sky in hues of purple and pink, Alara reached the edge of the ancient forest. Before her stretched the vast expanse of the plains, undulating waves of grass whispering secrets carried by the gentle evening breeze. The horizon seemed endless, yet she felt a serene certainty that her journey was nearing an important chapter. Pausing for a moment, Alara turned to gaze back at the path she had traveled. The towering trees stood as silent witnesses to her transformation, their silhouettes dark against the fading light. The grove where she had first felt the stirrings of magic glimmered with the last vestiges of daylight, a sacred place now etched in her memory. In the distance, the faint laughter of children echoed from a nearby village, a sound so pure it brought a smile to her lips. It was a reminder of the world she was protecting, the future she was helping to forge with each step she took. The Bell Witch had spoken of a purpose grander than any one life, and Alara felt the truth of it in her bones. With renewed resolve, She turned her eyes forward, her heart attuned to the rhythm of the earth beneath her feet. The legacy she carried was not a burden but a gift, a beacon to illuminate the shadows and guide the lost. Alara stepped onto the plains, her silhouette merging with the vastness of the land. As she journeyed on, the stars began to appear one by one, guardians of the night watching over her. The melody of the forest faded into the gentle rustle of the grass, a new song for a new horizon. And so, under the watchful gaze of the cosmos, Alara continued her journey, a solitary figure weaving through the fabric of destiny, her heart forever tethered to the magic of the world and the stories yet untold. As Alara moved forward, the horizon stretched endlessly before her, a canvas of infinite possibilities. The sky painted itself with hues of twilight, each star a note in the symphony of existence that resonated with her very being. She felt the whispers of the ancients in the wind, a soft chorus that spoke of courage, hope, and the enduring spirit of life itself. The path was long and winding, yet with every step, Alara felt lighter, her spirit buoyed by the promise of what lay ahead. The land around her, kissed by the silver light of the moon, seemed to breathe with her, a living testament to the harmony she felt within. She paused at the crest of a hill, the village now a distant memory behind her, and gazed at the world that spread out like a tapestry woven with dreams and reality. In that moment, Alara understood that her journey was not just her own, but a thread in the grand design that connected all things. The Bell Witch's words echoed in her mind, a gentle reminder that the magic she sought was not just in the world she traversed, but within her. She was a guardian of stories, a weaver of fates, and as long as she moved forward, there would always be tales to tell, lives to touch, and destinies to shape. With a final glance at the stars, Alara smiled, a quiet promise to the universe that she would carry its light wherever she went. She turned her face to the road once more, her steps sure and true, as the night embraced her in its timeless dance. And thus, Alara continued, a solitary traveler on a boundless journey, her heart a beacon of light and her soul a vessel of hope. The world whispered its secrets to her, and she listened, ready to pen them into the eternal story of life, one step at a time. As the dawn began to paint the horizon with hues of gold and rose, Alara felt the gentle touch of a new day unfurling before her. The road stretched out, an unending ribbon of possibilities, and with each step, she felt the earth's pulse beneath her feet, steady and true. The villages she passed through awoke with the soft murmur of morning routines. Children's laughter mingled with the clatter of market stalls, and the scent of fresh bread wafted through the air. In each face she met, Alara saw reflections of her own journey, the hopes, fears, and dreams that wove them all into the same tapestry of existence. Her path was no longer solitary, for she carried with her the stories and spirits of those she had met along the way. Their voices blended with her own, a harmonious chorus that sang of courage, love, and the unyielding power of the human spirit. Each encounter added a note to her song, a color to her canvas, enriching her journey with their shared humanity. As the sun reached its zenith, Alara paused by a tranquil stream, its waters sparkling like liquid crystal. She knelt, cupping her hands to drink, feeling the coolness refresh her body and spirit. In the gentle ripples, she glimpsed her reflection, not just the face she had always known, but the depth of her soul, the endless possibilities of who she could become. With a newfound sense of purpose, Alara rose, her heart light and her spirit free. She knew that the road ahead was long and winding, filled with challenges and wonders beyond her wildest imaginings. Yet, she welcomed it all, for she was no longer just a traveler. She was a creator of her own destiny, a guardian of the stories yet to unfold. And so, under the vast, eternal sky, Alara journeyed on, her footsteps a gentle rhythm in the symphony of life. The world lay before her, a boundless canvas, and with every breath, she painted her story upon it, vibrant and everlasting, a testament to the beauty of the journey itself. As the afternoon sun began its gentle descent, casting a golden hue over the landscape, Alara continued her journey with a heart full of dreams and determination. The path ahead, once shrouded in uncertainty, now seemed to beckon her with promises of new beginnings and endless horizons. Each step she took was a whisper of hope, a testament to her courage and resilience. The gentle rustle of leaves and the soft murmur of the stream accompanied her, a serene melody that echoed the harmony she felt within. Alara knew that the magic of the world lay not just in its grand vistas or hidden secrets, but in the quiet moments of reflection and the strength found in moving forward, no matter the obstacles. As twilight painted the sky in shades of violet and indigo, Alara paused atop a hill, gazing at the world laid out before her. In that moment, she understood that her journey was not just about reaching a destination, but about embracing each moment with an open heart and an inquisitive spirit. With a gentle smile playing on her lips, Alara whispered a silent promise to herself and the universe: to cherish the journey, to honor the stories that shaped her, and to share her own tale with those she met along the way. And so, with the stars beginning to twinkle above, Alara continued her path into the night, her spirit a beacon of light in the vast tapestry of existence, forever weaving her own luminous thread into the ever-expanding tale